Cosmic Fury is coming out at the end of September, and it's been revealed that Billy, the long-time original Blue Ranger, is going to be returning as a regular cast member. Right now, it's being assumed that he's probably going to be the mentor. It would make sense based on his age and how long he's been a Power Ranger, but we don't really know for sure yet. We knew when Once and Always was happening that Billy was going to make an appearance on Cosmic Fury, along with Mick Canick, Tarek, who was Void Knight. At the time, it also said Min was going to be on there as well, but as of right now, she is no longer on the first episode list of the cast, so I don't know if she's going to appear in the show or not. I would really love for her to. I have a whole video on Min and Charlie Kirsch, and she's incredible. I think she's done a great job, and she's going to do great things. It's very exciting to see that Billy is manning a Zord in some photos. I don't know whether this Zord is actually going to be his primarily, or if this was Ollie's, and when Ollie, as we already know, is going to at some point in the show taken back to the dark side or for Lord Zed like he was in Dino Fury. But we'll see what happens with that officially. It would be really cool to see him become sort of the Blue Ranger of the team if Ollie's not there. With it being original Power Rangers content, it's going to be really cool to see them using the Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger suit probably more often than they would had they been just pulling stuff from a Sentai season. Billy is the longest running character of the original 5 Power Rangers. David Yost was on the show for a very long time, and he's got quite an incredible rap sheet when you really start adding up how much he did and the amount of time he was there. 155 episodes in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 60 for season 1, 52 in season 2, 43 for season 3. 39 episodes in Power Rangers Zeo, 1 major motion picture, a straight-to-VHS movie of Alpha's Magical Christmas, which I also have a video on, which is really good. You should check it out, especially with the holidays approaching. It's great. There a lot of crazy stuff was happening with that video. You should check it out. The official fan club video, the Lost episode, and of course, Once and Always. Plus the countless other things that they made these people do, such as the voiceover for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Live, endless amounts of commercials and PSAs done by them back in the 90s. It's awesome to see that David Yost has been involved in the fandom in other projects too. He was in the trailer for The Order, which features lots of Power Ranger actors. He also appeared in 3 episodes of an online series called Life After Power Rangers. He lended his voice for Warlord Vex in the Power Rangers Rise of the Ninja fan film. I don't know about everybody, but I'm definitely surprised that he'd want to be so involved with the fandom and do these other things, considering he had such a rough time at the end of being on Power Rangers. Haim Saban would regularly ask cast members to come in, and he would be asking them about David's sexuality. David's even stated that he was not allowed to be a Power Ranger because he didn't deserve it when it came to Zeo. And of course, most people know that he left the show when someone called him a one too many times. Now, one of the people who worked on the show who did a lot of the ADR was Scott Page Pactor, and he claimed that David Yost had a bonus that they were paying the cast members and they took that away, and that's one reason why he left the show. Now, he's never disputed that ever since. Scott Page Pactor has now passed away, but I will say that even if that is part of it, I can understand having a certain amount of pay, and they weren't paid that well, having your pay cut, and then walking into work the next day being called names like that, and just going, you know what, enough of this, I'm done. Now, after David left the show, it's really a sad story for a few years for him, but luckily he came out much better. Of course, he did the whole conversion therapy for a long time, trying to change his sexual orientation. He actually spent a very long period in Mexico just accepting who he was, and when he came out of it, he started getting really involved, doing a lot of really great things for people. He's promoted the Trevor Project. In 2002, he was in a play called The Fallen Guardian Angels. All the proceeds went to the Children's Hospital AIDS Center. He also was involved in the No Hate campaign. Now, I've seen lots of comments over the year, especially when the special was coming out, that these actors, they never win anywhere, or they never really built a career, they're a bunch of failures, and I have to say, it's really not true. Now, David was in a handful of smaller roles. He was Josh White in Scene of the Crime in 1996. He played a Playboy photographer in After Different Strokes, When the Laughter Stopped in 2000. But the reason you probably don't know a lot about David's career is that most of what he's done is actually behind the scenes. In 2000, he started dabbling in more behind the scenes stuff. He was an associate producer on the TV film The Mary Kay Letourneau. I can't say that word.
Dyslexia is hard, dude.
And also just being terrible at English. He went on to do some producing for some TV series, Alien Hunter and Temptation Island. He went on to be director of production for Sci-Fi Lab on the Sci-Fi Channel. Then he went on to be the manager of licensing for Geneon. I hope that's the right way to say it. That company went on to sell a lot of anime-style shows to Showtime, Starz, Encore, and Cartoon Network. He was a field producer in You Are What You Eat in 2004, and a segment producer for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2010. David's gone on to co-own Affirmative Clothing. They got a lot of great Power Ranger merch. They have a website. Also, if you want the Cleanup Club t-shirt, you can get it on that website. But all in all, David really is an incredible person. You can tell that he cares so much for the community. There's been several times I've been, he's popped on like Instagram Live and he just talks for an hour and answers questions and is really sweet to everybody. He's really seems to be a very nice guy. Not to mention him and Amy Jo Johnson still remain friends. She actually brought him in on one of the films she was working on, and he just kind of walked around for the day and assisted. But moving on to Billy's character, honestly, there's a lot of really cool stuff to explore because we have this gigantic gray area in between the time when he went to Aquitar because of his rapid aging. He fell in love with Sestria, an alien from that planet, and now all these years later, during the 30th special, we don't really have a confirmation if he married Sestria or they're just kind of acquaintances. They do mention that she misses him quite a bit, and they give him a little bit of ribbing. And of course, he owns Cranston Technologies, which is a tech company of some sort. We're not really sure what all that company does. Of course, he does a lot of things that are probably, not known by the rest of the company. We do know that he designed a device that makes you invisible. Now, what I thought was interesting, I was watching some episodes of Power Rangers Zeo the other day, and there's actually an episode where the Machine Empire accidentally leave a device that makes you invisible, and they all they start using that and find that. And so it's weird that Billy, after all these years, just kind of recently figured out how to do invisibility when he kind of had access to that for a while. And come to think of it, honestly, Billy's inventions, a lot of them were kind of mistakes at the beginning. Like the rad bug flying, I think, was a mistake, I believe. And the communicators teleporting was a malfunction that he didn't plan on. And before people jump on and say I'm attacking Billy or saying he sucks, I'm not saying Billy sucks. I love Billy. It's a great character. It's just funny how that's kind of how it started. But now, of course, he's obviously knows what he's doing. He owns his own company. It's going to be so cool to see him in this new series. I mean, this is the first time since 2004 with Dino Thunder that we've had a former Ranger return and be a mentor. I've done several videos of the actors who are coming on for Once and Always, and I never got around to doing one for David Yost. And the reason is because most of those were really inspired by the negativity people had towards them. I kind of want to defend them. But honestly,
Billy really doesn't have any negative feedback.
Almost everybody loves Billy. There might be a few people who don't, but he really has a way of connecting with everyone. He's the nerd, picked on, he was bullied by Bulk and Skull. What I find really interesting is that he's going to be next to Ollie, which Ollie is like the modern day nerd. After 30 years, there really is such a contrast. And I have a video I want to do on that. So whenever that's available, check it out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm hope you're excited for Cosmic Fury. The poster that they made up is unbelievable. It's probably the coolest poster I've ever seen from Power Rangers, so I really want to get a copy of that and put it up in here because that thing's amazing. But hey, you guys have a great one. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.